Hey friends, welcome to the channel Data with Hina. Today I'm going to show you how to create a pivot table in Microsoft Excel and also some basics of pivot table. So without wasting any time, let's jump right in. This is the data set that I'm going to use today. Before creating a pivot table, let's change and convert our data into a table. Now, what is the benefit of converting our data into table? I will tell you a little bit later with practical example. For now, let's go and select all of our data. Control A to select all of our data, and we can use a shortcut key Control plus T to convert it into a table. Control plus T. Click on OK. Now my data converted into a table. Let's change the name of my table into Superstore underscore data. Hit the enter key. Now that I have converted my data into a table, let's go and create a pivot table. Go to the Insert tab. Here you can see that I have two options. One is pivot table and the other one is recommended pivot tables. Click on recommended pivot tables. It will show us some already created pivot tables that we can choose from. But for now, let's go and create our pivot table from scratch. For that, let's go and click on this pivot table. Here you can see that we have select a table or range. If we have a table, then you can use the name of the table. Here I have Superstore underscore data, which is my table. But if I don't have the table and my data were in raw data, then there I will choose the range of those cells that my data is located. And here we have another option. Choose where you want the pivot table report to be placed, new worksheet or existing worksheet. I want it to be in the new worksheet. Click on OK. Here I have the pivot table. On the right side, you can see that we have the pivot table fields. All of these names that you see is the column names of my table. Below that, we have the filters, columns, rows, and values shelves. You can drag and drop each of these fields into these shelves and it will reflect the changes into the view, and you can see the pivot table will be created automatically. Now let's go, for example, I want to find out the sum of sales of each customers. Let's go and add the customer's name into the rows. Here I have the customer names, and also I want to drag and drop the sum of sales into the values. Here I have the sum of sales into the values. Now suppose I want to find out and see the sum of sales in each category that these customers have. So let's go and add a category here into the columns. Now you can see that I have the sum of sales of each customer that they have on different types of categories. The other thing that I want to do is to change the values here. Let's suppose I don't want to find out the sum of sales, I want to find out the average. So right click in anywhere in the pivot table, go to the value field settings. Here I have the sums, count, average, max, min, and so on. I want the average, so click on average and click on OK. Now I have the average for each sales. For now, let's remove the category from the columns. Now I can see the average of sales for each customer. Again, let's go and change it into sum and click on OK. Here I have the other shelf, which is filters. Right now I can see the data from all region, but I don't want to see all of it. I just want to see, for example, the sum of sales from the central region. So for that, let's go and add the region here in the filters. Drag and drop it into the filters. Here we have the regions. Click on this drop down menu. Select multiple items. Now you can select only central, or if you want central and east or any other region. For example, I just want to see the central region. I will select that and click on OK. Now it will show me just the sum of sales of those customers that are in the central region. Let's go and select all of it. Click on OK, it will show me again all of it. The other thing that I want to do here is to add the currency symbol in it, and also I want to decrease the decimal places. For that, again, let's right click on the pivot table anywhere in the values, click on the number formats. Here I have categories in general, number, currency, and so on. I want it to be currency, and also here we have a bunch of different symbols that you can use. Mine is some dollars, so I will choose dollar. And also decimal places, I will decrease it into the 0. So I don't want the decimal places to be shown. and here it will show me the sample, how it will look like. Click on OK. Now you can see that it's a little bit cleaner than before. Now it's time for you to understand the benefit and the importance of converting your data into a table prior to creating pivot table. Suppose you have a raw data. When you are creating pivot table from that raw data, it will simply choose a range of cells and the pivot table will take its data from that range of cells. Now if you are adding more data below that raw data, the pivot table will not be able to include that additional information because it's not in the range of cells that we selected at the first place. But if you change your data and convert it into a table, now you are adding additional information in bottom of it. It will automatically include this additional information into that table and automatically reflect those changes into the pivot table if you refresh the pivot table. Now let's go and practically see it. Here you can see that I have my data. My data has 300 records. My pivot table had $77,000, almost $77,000 for the sum of sales. Now let's go and add more data. Here I have more data. I will simply select it, Control A to select it, Control C to copy it. Go to the data and add it in at the end of this, Control V. Now you can see that it took the formatting of table. It means that it included itself into the table. Now let's go into the sheet 3. Let's rename it to be a little bit specific, pivot table. Now if we go to the data and click on refresh, you can see that it automatically reflected our changes, and now our grand total for sum of sales is $168,000. Now you can see the importance of converting your data into a table prior to creating pivot table. Let's go and create one more pivot table with raw data that's not converted into a table. For example, let's go and add this table. Control C. Control C. Here we have paste it as a value. Now you can see that this is not a table, this is just a raw data. Now let's go and rename it to raw data. Without converting it into table, let's go and create our pivot table. Go and create a pivot table. It will automatically select the range of cells that have the data in it. You can see that now it says a raw data and it's the range of cells. Click on OK. Now if I add customer names in the rows and sum of sales into the values, at the end you can see that it's almost $77,960, which was at the first time. Now let's go into the raw data and add this more data into it. Again, Control Shift right arrow key, Control Shift down arrow key, Control C for copy. Go to the raw data. And paste it at the end of it. Go to the sheet 5, which was our pivot table from the raw data. Now let's go and refresh our data. Go to data and refresh it. You can see that it simply didn't reflect our changes because we had selected a range of cells and our additional information that we added later is not included in that range of cells. That's it. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.